What up, though, Black Fridays family? Welcome back to another episode of the Black Fridays podcast. And before we get into today's episode, I have to give you some good and bad news. I'll start with the bad news first. Due to some technical difficulties, the video quality of this episode was unfortunately impacted. So once we drop you into the conversation, you will be in the midst of our conversation and it won't flow like a typical episode of the Black Fridays podcast. Now, if you're interested in listening to that episode in its entirety, you can go to all of the major streaming platforms, Spotify, Apple, iHeart, Amazon Music, and you can stream the audio of that episode from beginning to end in its entirety. Now, in terms of our video episode that you are watching right now, I have some great news because I have an amazing guest that came all the way from Houston to spend some time on the Black Fridays podcast. And this is a person who has gone out of their way to make sure that creators have an avenue to get directly to the bag and being able to be compensated for their talents and their content. I'm talking about none other than Bree Flemings, who is the CEO and founder of Gem Social. Gem Social is an app-based platform that puts creators and brands in one space in order to allow them the avenue to be able to work and create with one another. This platform is so ahead of the game that it even allows you to be able to handle any contractual or financial obligations directly within the platform. So it's no more back and forth in terms of paperwork or making sure that you get paid on time, because Gem Social has figured out how to help you get directly to the bag without much interference. So far, the platform has thousands, if not millions, of downloads and over 3 million creators that are able to leverage this platform in order to create opportunities. What I was amazed by in this conversation with Bree was being able to understand the pathway that led her to developing Gem Social. It was her time that she spent down in South Florida, and she was a DJ at the top of her game. But because there were not as many opportunities in where she came from, because if you weren't a part of the in crowd or knew the right folks, it was a lot harder to be able to get access to be able to book some of the best gigs in town. So Bree was able to combine her experiences in tech, project management, and working in corporate to be able to funnel her energy on developing a platform that would eliminate that friction when it comes to finding opportunities to be able to create at your highest level. I had the opportunity to learn about Bree and the Gem Social platform during Black Tech Saturday's Digital Empowerment Summit right here in Detroit last fall. And I knew at that moment that this was such a unique angle in terms of being able to get creators paid and those brand deals that we as creators often seek out. I had to have her on the platform, and I'm grateful that she took the time to come and spend with us on the show. So now that I got all of that explanation and information out of the way, I want to now drop you into our conversation with Bree so that you can get more insight into the learned experiences that she's had during her journey to developing Gem Social, and also her experiences as a content creator as well. She's a fellow podcaster and very intentional about developing her own personal brand, and we are getting a chance to be able to see that journey play out in real time, and she's able to leverage some of the things that she's created in order to do so. So I'm super excited for you to pick up in the middle of this episode, and I know that you'll get a lot of great gems and wisdom from it. So without further ado, let's get into the episode. Who is Gem and why are they social? Why'd you name it Gem Social?
So I called it Gem Social because I did want it to be a social app originally. It was a creators gig network. So I wanted people to be social. We are a social platform. We are a community-based platform. We do like to bring creators together a lot, creators and brands together a lot. We've had 12 events last year alone, just literally bringing creators, brands, and even investors to dinners, to networking events, to conferences, to kickoff events, etc. So it is a very social part, but Gem originally was going to be with a G, but it was already taken. But likely also just because the whole point of the goal of Gem was to teach people and put them on game.
Yeah.
So, and you know how we say it, you know, like when you hear something real good, it's like, dang, they just dropped a gem.
Dropping gems, yeah.
And so we wanted the social part, and I just couldn't, Gem just wouldn't escape my brain. It was like something I kept dreaming about. And I was like, Gem Social. It really genuinely was just Gem. Even if you go on to the App Store and put in Gem Social, it says Gem and then it says turn content to cash, you know, but it is Gem Social.
Gotcha. So could you now break down the experience for folks who download Gem Social? Let's say I'm a content creator. I'm ready to get some opportunities. I download the app. What should I expect?
Right. Boom. So very simple. You can download it or you can go on the web browser and sign up as a creator. You would onboard your information. So like, you know, what's your niche, what your, you know, your goal, like how many brand deals you're trying to land, et cetera. Because we want to actually customize your experience to make sure that we're hitting your goals, to be honest. Once you do that, you have two options. You can sign for free. So creators can sign. There is a free option. But if you want to pitch brands, like if you want access to those contacts, which is way cheaper to just use our platform, then you can actually access 30,000 brand contacts and you can filter them by niche. So like tech, food, business, wellness, home, etc. Like we have a bunch of subjects that you can really, or categories, I would say, that you can select from. Now, the doper part is because we know how timely it takes to pitch people. That's where the AI comes in. So because we already got your onboarded information all the way down, like your portfolio, media kit, etc., then we take all that and tailor your pitch to these brands. And you can select different subject lines, you know, if you want to be direct, FOMO, professional, exciting, etc. All those things are embedded into the platform. And you can loop in your Gmail account and you can pitch directly through the platform. And that's for as a content creator.
Yes. Yeah. And then there's another side to it. If you are a business and let's say you're looking for these people to work with, what does that side look like?
So when they sign up, for them, same thing, like they'll still onboard. They will put in their niche, they'll put in their budget as well, and how many creators that they're looking for on a monthly basis. And then once they put in that stuff, same thing, there's a free option, and then there's the actual paid option. On the paid option, if they want to access all these creators, then they need to sign up for either the $49 a month plan for startups or the $99 a month plan for just local businesses or enterprise businesses, etc. Another option is our managed services, where we could do the influencer marketing for them, where we select creators for them, come up with their influencer marketing plan and content strategy, and we'll take that on for them. So there's three different options. If it's a standard option where people just want to come on, find creators and book them through the platform, they can do that on our paid options. And same thing, they can break it down by niche. So let's walk through another use case, like the restaurant I went to, Takoid. Let's say that they're looking for Detroit foodies, or even someone like an Amber, a lifestyle creator, and content creator, like that's covering things to do in Detroit.
And that's social in the city for people listening.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yep. Social in the city.
Yep.
So if someone wants to book someone like her, right, they could go on the platform and book someone like her. They could either send her an offer or they could ask for her rate, and if Amber wants to accept it on the platform, there is a marketplace fee, because what we do is the brand will pay it. So it's already in the escrow, and then they'll get a deadline to do two things. If it's UGC, then they just submit the content and then, make sure it's up to par to what they agreed on.
Yep.
Cool. If it's influencer marketing or influencer partnership where they got to post, once they post and it goes live and everything's all fine, then they get paid out within 2 days.
Okay.
And that's it.
Very dope. Yeah. So helping people get to those bags.
So we're connecting the partnerships, but we also are keeping the accountability there, because I've been burned on both sides. I've been burned as a creator where I did something for somebody and they didn't pay up. Yeah. And I've already, posted. I've already, I already got them clicks. I already got them conversions. And, I'm so sorry, we meant to submit that payment, blah, 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 like just bullshit.
Oh, I'm so sorry. I had to take everything down.
Right, but I had to urgently do the editing and do this and this. So that's why I had set up the escrow system for the bookings. And then I've been on the other side where, to be honest, I've booked creators and they just didn't deliver. And I paid up front. And it's like, I'm getting something, what I was expecting in 2 weeks, 2 months later. And now it's like I got to get a little nasty and get on PayPal or wherever it may be and just get my refund and never work with you again.
Yeah.
And it's not just creators. It happened to me when I first was building the app, even with a developer, like paying someone off, outside of marketplaces, which is why I honestly just kept using marketplaces. I still use marketplaces for some parts of my apps, like Upwork for my virtual assistant and stuff, because if you do not deliver, you do not get paid.
Yes. Simple.
That is just simple. I don't care how people feel about it. It is just the safest route, So some brands actually do have creators that they work with, and they just use our platform for that. They're not even necessarily looking for new ones. There's ambassador programs out here for multiple brands that they're like, we're just using this because we want to make sure that they deliver. We don't, and what we'll do is we'll custom tailor a solution for them. So maybe they're like, hey, look, like it would be super expensive if we pay for a marketplace fee. We can manage it and do this, and this. So we'll just say, okay, well, what we'll do is we'll license this for you. We'll take away the transaction fees and we'll just license this for you for this amount of money. So that is becoming a big thing where ambassador programs are coming to us and saying like they either can manage it or we can manage it. But if they manage it and they just want literally just the solution, but they want to manage a bunch of creators, then we're like, well, how many creators a month do you expect? Because we need to calculate that missed marketplace fee, and then we'll create it for them. So yeah.
Got you. And what do you have any success stories that you could share that people have leveraged the platform and been able to land some great opportunities?
There's been a lot of dope stories, but recently something that I've seen on the platform that I really was excited about was this event producer leveraged the platform. She used to work for L'Oreal, and she ended up going on her own, started her own creators market. And she leveraged the platform by booking fashion influencers for the markets. And those fashion influencers were getting like a payout for each ticket and stuff like that. But they just wanted to be there because it was one of the hottest markets in New York and Houston and New Orleans, etc. So she was able to spend maybe $1,000 towards influencers, very nano influencers, like smaller creators, and also used affiliate marketing with them too. And she sold out all of her events. All of her vendors, were already booked. Like honestly, after 2 weeks of launch, both days were sold out. Like she's profiting at least 20 to 25K per event. That's not including sponsors that come on behind that. And she has about like 10, creator markets, a year now. So this is grossing anywhere from like 200 to 200 and like 60K a year. This girl's 24 years old, but she's leveraging influencer marketing for that. What she does is she'll take the best performing content, like for the people that are actually posting about it. She'll ask them for the content usage rights and pay them whatever that may be. And she'll run ads behind that. And she says she only runs like, honestly, like $20 a week on these ads to sell some more tickets. Right. So to me, it's really dope because in total, like she might not be breaking more than, like $1,500 in marketing each single event, outside of the cost of like the venue and all this other stuff. But then the market is so hot that sometimes the venues just want to give a good discount because they want all that density of people to come in and see it, So that's another thing. So she's doing a really good job. Shout out to Olivia. Another one is Social Fest Conference. We did their influencer marketing services for them in exchange to be a sponsor. It's one of the best social media conferences in the state of Texas. It's in South Texas. But what was dope is that we had booked influencers for them, and before the conference even happened, they had drove over 500,000 impressions with small creators in Mission, Texas, Rio Grande Valley, some areas of Mexico, Dallas, and Houston. Like we only focused on Texas influencers, nano influencers, up to micro influencers. So we're still talking smaller creators, right? They didn't break the bank too much because this was like an inception. They just wanted to really see like if this is, if this concept is really going to work out. They sold out. They had over 20 sponsors in general. And they were profitable on top of that. And that also got a lot of leads because they're really a marketing agency that threw a conference. So just being behind that as a marketing agency, throwing a social media marketing conference, and all these founders and brands are a part of it on top of the sponsorships, they also were able to leverage that to have new clients in their business. So that was like such a dope play. But the influencers that ended up coming there and shooting live, because, there's the pre-event, content, of course, right? and then there's the live content, and then there's the post-event content. They drove 2.5 million impressions in 2 days.
Wow.
2.5 million impressions for a tool that costs $99 a month. So even we had to start looking at this tool like, are we charging enough? Now obviously it's not $99 a month for us to manage the influencers and stuff, but what we wanted to do was we wanted to start.
Is there another tier you could go to?
Yeah, there's another tier, and we were able to see the value of that tier. So now we're in conversations with like DreamCon, also Tech Week, OKC Tech Week, DC Startup Week. Like we have all these great conversations with the people because we see the value of ambassadors, like to have ambassadors, be your creator operating system for not necessarily for sales, but it can be leveraged because if you are driving 500,000 plus impressions for a new conference, then imagine when you're coming back.
Right.
People are already excited.
Yep.
It was already new in Mission, Texas. Nobody knows what Mission, Texas was. Now they do. Now that the Rio Grande Valley was put on the map, and now those creators there are even more inspired than ever. But they were smart for even having it in an untapped area, in an untapped market in South Texas. So Mexicans are coming up too. You know what I'm saying? So we got the Americans and we got Mexicans there.
Yep.
That was super dope even for me because it also showed me the value of it, of me being a Black tech founder. I'm not a Black only founder.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of people get that misconstrued sometimes because they'll see a Black founder and be like, oh, well, like this, and this. But it's like, my customers are not only Black. You know what I'm saying? And even when I was telling my publicist, I said, I don't want my app to only be bought by Black owned businesses. I want my app to be bought by brands that respect and want to work with creators. And for creators that also respect and want to work with the brands that they dream to work with, or at least their lookalikes. Like, I love Bioma. I have good skin. I use Bioma. I always say I would love to work with Bioma, but if there was something else similar to Bioma, I would work with them too, because I like skincare. I like skincare. I like tech and AI. Like, those are my main things that I talk about. So if I can honestly continue working with those people, which I do, this is my first year actually going back into intentional content creating and actually leveraging my platform as another pipeline revenue for my personal brand, right? Which is why I started the podcast. I started the podcast a month ago. We've had 10 deals, So it's like, but it works. It works, whether it's inbound or outbound, it works, but it's positioning, so I'm big on that. But this allowed me to step out on, not just on faith, but actually, see how other people outside of my race really like my platform. Not just people supporting me because I'm a Black founder,
And talk to me about being able to, so I'm intrigued by, you said the podcast is not that old, but you've been able to get 10 deals. Talk to me about those deals. I'm all ears.
Yes. So I had started rolling out pre-promotional content for the podcast in December. I took 2 weeks off from like just everything I was doing and just focused on the podcast. Started rolling out some pre-promotional content, and I would say by the sixth video, not episode, video, because I was positioning, right? I focused on that AI stuff, AI marketing community. Like, those are my pillars of my podcast.
Yep.
So guess who's all reaching out to me in my inbox? AI companies. There's AI companies for making ads. AI companies for market research. Everything marketing related, like the marketing apps that are powered by AI are reaching out to me, and I thought that was dope because it's positioning. Down to what's in your bio, down to what's in your podcast bio, down to like all of those things, and then what you're saying, right? I only focus on those things, and I don't care if I don't get a lot of views. I don't get a lot of views in my podcast. I'm still learning the whole YouTube, all that stuff. Like, I commend y'all for being consistent. You know what I'm saying? Like, genuinely. But I position myself damn good. Yeah. And that's what's gotten us 10, well, I would say over 10 inquiries. I'm still filtering through who I think would be a good fit for the podcast versus like TikTok, Instagram, all those things. So we have 2 active deals right now that we push forward. The rest of them we're still like, let's see if it's a good fit or in negotiation, because of course, because it is lower views still and it's new, they see like the value only in the viewership. And I'm like, I understand that, but also like
That's BS at the end of the day. But go ahead.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like, it's like, are you guys want content to run with my, run my face with my ads, and I'm not just a podcaster. I have a whole different IP. So my name and likeness cannot just be sold for $100.
Talk to him.
Sorry.
Talk to him.
You know what I'm saying? So I understand everybody's side because I own a whole creator marketplace. I get it,
Yeah.
But in the same side, I also understand some people's budgets. So I also look for other ways to, if let's say this AI platform helps Gem, right?
Yeah.
Or let's say that this AI platform has access to a lot of, like, for example, because it's an AI marketing platform for something else that's not related to Gem. Okay, well, can you guys all send out, top tools, for new founders in your emails and feature Gem? Like, there's different ways.
Yeah.
I want creators to learn how to sell. Because people sometimes get so offended that, oh, they're only trying to charge me or have me make $120 per video.
Make the deal work for you.
Make the deal work for you.
Yeah.
Like, you look up, do some research. Like,
talk to them right there.
Do some research, Let's say this company just raised, Series A or something. They got some money for marketing, right?
Mm-hmm.
They got money for partnerships. Like, see how they can get you into South by Southwest or something, because they don't know what you want. Even my platform doesn't know what you want. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's a suggested rate, you got your prices, whatever, but like you have to establish your own value. So like, maybe that they don't have the cash to give me all this money right now for 5 videos, but maybe I need the tool. Shit. Maybe it's eliminating me paying for Instantly AI, you know what I'm saying? Or
right.
Claude or whatever it may be. If it's eliminating the cost of my business or my personal life too,
yes.
right? Then there might be some value for value. Like, I'll get this cash and I'm gonna also eliminate this bill that might cost me $2,000 a year, right? And I might have access to a conference or something. It's just, do your research. So that's why I take my time with the deals, where I'm like, we'll get back to you in the next, 7 to 10 days.
Yeah.
I'll have my assistant go and look up some stuff, and we'll go back and forth. And then now I'm about to make a deal with this AI ad company because we're starting to run ads, and we're spending money, thousands of dollars right now, because we're literally trying to invest so much money to get a good ROI. We're spending a lot of money on, creators and UGC and testing content. And if there's an app that can help eliminate a lot of that, okay, well, my little $200-$300 might work. Plus the fact that I'm eliminating something that might cost me $6,000 a year on top of that, but they don't know how much that costs for me. So that's why I'm like, people got to stop getting their panties in a bunch sometimes when they see a low ball, because that's when you can negotiate. People have done that even with some of my clients. Like, this one girl got a free co-working space for a year, and she could shoot one podcast a month, and she got a paid stipend. You know what I'm saying? But even though the payout is not a whole lot, the value was there, because she's like, wait, this place has a podcast studio. She could have events here. She's gonna start having her workshops there. But if she would have just been mad that the co-working space only could afford maybe $150 for one post, then she wouldn't have even noticed that, holy crap, I don't even have to spend so much money on a podcast that could cost $500, between the equipment, right? More than that, you know what I'm saying? But like renting the equipment,
right,
renting the space, the editor, all that stuff. So it's like, if brands and creators really learn how to work together, they will both win. Even if you're a small creator or a small business, you just gotta get funky with it, sometimes,
Facts.
So yeah.
So now I got to ask you, how does Bree get to the bag? So I know that you create your own content, and you are developing your personal brand in addition to developing Gem Social and whatever other business endeavors that you have going on. But what is if you could break down your path to monetization?
Yeah. So the creator partnerships is new for sure. So that's a new one for me. So I'll start doing the income report. I actually started doing the income report, but I'm going to be doing more income reports on that side. I own 4 properties as well. My goal is to pay them off faster is better. But that's another way that I make money from rental income. I also do consulting. So I don't pay myself through Gem at all. I don't take any pay. I pay the people that work for Gem, and then I take the profitable, like that, the profits, and reinvest it into the platform. So if we have like a $12K month and our expenses are only $6,000, the $6,000 is going right back into the company. Like I don't pay myself at all. I make just enough money doing what I do now. I also consult. So that's always been really good money for me. I've consulted a lot of B2B brands across multiple different industries, project management, AI now, marketing. And I would like to get more into AI consulting side because that's a whole bag, like with the workflows.
Okay.
But I still do that.
And when you say AI consulting, you mean like developing either a AI duplicate of you or like a chatbot or something like that with your information?
No, so everything is always around project management.
Okay.
And nowadays, I actually just got my PMP, but
what is that?
A project management professional.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay. Yep.
So that's like one of the best certifications in the world. Especially if you want to be a project manager. But as far as the AI side, it's how you can optimize your processes and you can save money.
Gotcha. Okay.
So,
okay.
And also with these B2B companies, it's not even just internally, but it's also how can you add AI into your product? And how much money can that save your customers as well? Because if it takes me, let's say that it takes an influencer marketer 20 hours a week just to update spreadsheets, about these creators, their data, that, when they post all that, if that takes them 20 hours, but it only takes 1 hour a week on Gem, well, depending on how much they're making, like let's say if an influencer marketer gets paid $50 an hour or something, well, $1,000 a week has now been saved from our tool, right? But because we are allowing AI to do a lot of these things too. So if I'm also teaching companies how to add AI into their product features or into their own businesses as well, then that's good money. Outside of that, the biggest thing is just being able to optimize their processes enough to hit their greater goal and their greater KPI. And that's what a lot of project managers do. So when we're delivering things in sprints and, in these certain, time frames that we agree to with a team of consultants or a team of developers or whatever it may be, then it's because we need to deliver value. That's the whole point, like delivering value each and every time. And most of the time I work with a product manager on that. So I'm a PM consultant. I've been doing that for over 10 years, and I've just kept that bag going.
In terms of the creator economy, with you having opportunities to create on your own and also building this platform that creators can benefit from, what's some of the top things that creators get wrong in their approach to try to monetize whatever it is that they're doing?
Well, the first one I would definitely say is what we were just talking about, the brand collaborations, and sometimes either taking too small of a deal, like honestly taking too small of a deal, because I can understand now some creators are just starting out. Might be their first few deals, or they could be a small creator or whatever it may be. And there's some big creators that just never took a deal before. They don't know how to structure it. So 100% that. And that's something that we want to eliminate more, even in our messaging, like, like something that shows like, this might be too small. Like, here's what we suggest. And that's where we can, train our AI model to help them at. So that's one area that I definitely still see a big problem in. Another thing is the pitching. We took our time building this tool because what we did is we analyzed some other creators' pitches in general that they did in the past. And I could easily look at a pitch and be like, well, yeah, no, this isn't going to work. But also sometimes it's down to just their portfolio, which is the number one important thing, how you structure your portfolio. Like if you are a creator and you have a UGC portfolio, and then you're pitching a brand for an influencer partnership, but let's say you only have like 500 followers, but you're trying to charge them thousands of dollars, they're going to laugh at that, because are you a UGC creator or are you an influencer? Are you building community online? Are you building a solid audience online that can trust you? That's the whole point of creator partnerships, right? Especially on the influencer marketing side. But sometimes people don't know what they're talking about. They'll put UGC creator in there, but they're really looking for an influencer partnership. But you're not an influencer. You are just an Instagram user. You're just a TikTok user. I don't think people are influencers unless you are actually establishing an audience. A lot of people are throwing out this influencer term, but really they're just a creator. You might just create, but an influencer is building an audience. If you really want to eliminate an expense or need access to a resource. Because again, as an influencer, you should be building an audience, right? So it doesn't mean that you need to be like an event producer or a podcaster, but like, what's the end goal here? Yeah. I don't think a lot of people know what their end goal is. And that's really the problem. What is your end goal here? Because for example, GLP-1 is a big thing. Yep. I too am getting that needle. I too am on that. Okay. But if someone's end goal is to show their weight loss journey, right? That is a very popular thing, especially with women. If you're showing your weight loss journey and you're pitching GLP-1 brands, that makes sense, especially if you're really a bigger person like that. Your mat has to lose a certain amount of weight, right? So that the right person who did that on our platform ended up getting a GLP-1 brand, and that GLP-1 brand paid them $7,000 a month for 5 months because they were looking for a long-term partnership. They were looking for a certain amount of videos. I think it was like 10 videos a month, which is very doable, right? Because you could do so many different things. You could, outside of just like a day in the life, you could show, you go into the gym, what you need to eat, but you need to talk about what the girlies are looking for. What do you eat when you are on a GLP-1? How to not be nauseous, side effects. Like there are so many different things that you can do. And a brand should be given a campaign brief anyways, but even better if you do your research too. I love working with creators where we give them a campaign brief, but they take it a step further, so because that makes the partnership go even longer, right? So I would say that people need to understand their greater goal, because like to just be an influencer is not enough. We got enough people calling themselves influencer. What are you really trying to do? Like with your audience, how are you trying to penetrate the audience? Because then now a lot of people are now creator turned brands. You know, a lot of creators are seeking ownership. And you don't want to just always wait to get a brand deal. You want ownership, own something, that could be your own podcast, that could be your own streetwear or jewelry or something of this sort. For me, it was an app. I'm a creator turned founder. I was a DJ turned tech founder, you know what I'm saying? But because I wanted ownership around something, and mine happened to be in creator economy, but it's like, what problem are you really solving? Because those are the creators that are really doing well. I follow a creator that does so damn good designs, because I'm not a designer. I'm not good with UI and UX. That is something that I genuinely follow other creators to get tips on, because when I'm using Lovable, then I kind of take some of the tips that they talk about on how to build a really good UI UX or onboarding experience, and I'll leverage what they're saying and use that on Lovable. So they have me. I'm the audience, the person that might be really good at developing products but not developing a good user experience, right? So our user experience has grown so much because of these certain creators I'm following, right? But that I would easily pay for their ebook, or easily pay for their course or their event that they have if it's local, or I'll even fly to Atlanta or Houston or wherever, Detroit. I don't care. I'll go anywhere to learn something valuable. But that's because they built an audience, but more than anything, building an audience often is coming from solving a problem. So if you're a creator, I'm looking at y'all. Let me hold your hand when I say this. You need to be solving problems. You need to start thinking like that. What problem am I going to solve, and how am I going to build a story around it? Be the director of the problem. That's the real DPs, the director of the problem. Build a story around it, and that's when you can start creating that kind of content.
So, Bree, could you tell us what is on the horizon for yourself? What's on the horizon for Gym Social? I know you all will be rolling out some new updates and features. So talk to us about what's in the crystal ball for you.
A lot of successful companies have an affiliate program. We was just talking about Riverside, right? I'm actually affiliate of Riverside, Opus Clips, all of them. A good amount of their income is made up from affiliate programs. And we actually are actively looking for YouTubers specifically, because we know when we start our podcast and stuff that it's very hard to monetize, that right away. But a good way to monetize as a YouTuber is through affiliate marketing, having those affiliate links in your bio. So we just want to be another affiliate link in people's bios. That's what we're looking to do. And we'll pay them, well, I think the agreement is going to be like $30 a month recurring revenue for each converted customer, which will be great because cool. If you got those 10 customers, you got $300 a month just just from being an affiliate, right? And then what we'll do is we'll start with we'll start with small creators first, and we'll give them a small incentive. Then we'll have like these different tiers. So if they cross 10 customers, then we'll start paying them $35 a month, and then it'll go up to 40, because that'll be almost half of what the cost is for the membership, for the brand memberships. Another thing would be is when we're looking for those podcasters, because we're typically going to look for podcasters, to be honest, that are talking about stuff like what you talk about too. So maybe we're going to have to work on a brand deal for you. But ultimately, we're going to look for people that are actively, talking about marketing, tech, AI, all this stuff. Because typically you guys are attracting founders or attracting decision makers. So anyone who's attracting decision makers on YouTube, we want to find those people and we want to work with them. And we actually think, to be honest, that we'll probably see a higher ROI on our, really an ambassadors program than just the standard creator partnerships. But we want to mix it up, because the creator partnerships would be good for our awareness and for establishing authority. But ultimately, we definitely want to get those links in and make sure that that's going good, and make sure that it's a good ROI, because we got to pay for already the platform to host the affiliate marketing, like getting those links and getting the payouts and all that stuff. So we're exploring those right now. But yeah, like having those ambassador programs are really beneficial as a tech company that has a SaaS, as a software as a service. So that is something that I'm really excited, but, scared, because it's like we did it before and it didn't work because of our business model. Now our business model makes sense. Like we charge enough from a subscription where creators can make good recurring money, but we're not going to go for the creators that are on Instagram and TikTok right away for these affiliates, because we're not going for them at all for that affiliate side. It just makes sense for YouTube, because all you got to do is you don't even have to do anything crazy. All you got to do is throw a link in your bio.
Yeah.
That takes nothing. We just need to make sure it's in alignment, because of course they shouldn't be promoting something that they don't talk about or it doesn't make sense to them. But if it's a podcast that's talking about how to grow your business, well, we're another tool. We're another tool that helps people grow their brand and business. Like, so that makes sense.
Right.
But what we'll do is we'll pay for a slot in their, like on their, what's it called, podcasts, or even their long form content. That's when we'll pay for an incentive. But as far as like just adding a link to their bio, like most of the time they're not getting paid by like these top brands. They're just signing up because they know that it'll convert. Yeah. So we want to, make sure that we establish that trust with them. So we're going to go for that. So right now I have my intern and my assistant looking for like 1,000 YouTubers that fit our ICP. So they literally have to go through like this playbook and this checklist to see like, okay, do they talk about this, this, and this? Okay, good. They passed that. Okay, do they, have this, and this? Because we don't even care if they don't even have like 500 subscribers. Like the whole point is actually to go for the creators that aren't monetized right now, because this will be a good way for them to get monetized. So we'll go for that group first and test it out, and then we'll give them a playbook on how they could be a successful ambassador. So that's something we want to roll out by, honestly, mid-March. And see how that goes all the way through June, because we might take some money from our ads and just start putting some more money into this more intentionally than just running ads. I always tell businesses, don't just leverage one marketing lever, like really test it out, like test out different things, because you never know what's going to work. But once you see it, then it's like, okay, now I'm gonna put more energy towards that. And people don't shy away from talking about us. Like people do like, we still have people who promote their like gem profiles or just have gem in their bio, like that we didn't ask for. And it's like, people are really like solid with the brand. So we're gonna go to them first, but we have over 578 people who applied to be ambassador. So dope. I'm excited to see how that goes. Yeah.
So Bree, where can the people tap in if they want to become an ambassador? They want to follow your journey. They want to work with you. They want to get on a platform. What's all the socials, the links, etc.
For sure. So y'all can find me on Instagram, TikTok, LinkedIn, MySpace, all that. Bree Flemings. So BREE Flemings FLEMINGS. And then as far as my platform, we're gem.social. So it's GEM.social and Gem Social app directly on, honestly, everything's Gem Social app as far as the brand. But if you do want to be an ambassador, or you do want to test out the new pitch tool where you can pitch over 30,000 brands, just holler at me on Instagram and I'll send you a form to fill out. And if you're a brand that's like, I do want to book more influencers, but I want to see how this platform works. If you want to give us feedback, then we can totally work out something so you could try out the tool. We also have free trials for brands. So you could try out for 7 days and see if you like it and keep it, or just give us, some feedback and maybe we'll just extend it for a month. Like, my biggest thing is anybody who has a business, especially consumer facing, where they know creators is going to be helpful, they belong on Gem. Like, point blank, period. Creators should be in your mix. There wasn't not one moment that I didn't talk about creators today because we conclude myself, are the forefront of what people are looking for. People are looking for recommendations and they're looking for humans to talk about it. So, you need to work with creators. So, yeah.
That's what it's all about.
It is, yeah. And that's why I'm here.
Well, Bree, we really appreciate the work that you're doing with Gem Social, especially me, myself, being a creative and being able to have these opportunities and going and trying to hunt on them on your own can be cumbersome. So being able to have a platform that kind of brokers those opportunities, I think is amazing.
And you are creators. So what kind of brand would you want to work with, seeing that you are in your 6th year of podcasting?
Yeah, it'd be
this is gonna be your 6th year.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, what would you look for as a creator?
So for me, I think because I'm a techie, being able to tap in with a lot of those tech brands, so microphone companies, video camera equipment,
stuff like that.
Shure, Hollyland, like all the people's who stuff I actually use, Soundcore, like these are brands that I would love to be able to tap in with, and then also because my platform is focused on black-owned businesses that are out there doing their thing. Love to be able to partner and or business focus. So platforms, so like a master class or something like that things that align with what we're talking about here.
Good to know. We'll have to get you on the platform and see if we can get you those deals. That's dope.
I signed up. I got the profile.
Yeah,
so
that's dope. That's always lovely because podcasting's a big thing. So
exactly,
that's good to know.
Exactly,
that's good feedback. Feedback, y'all. Understand what people want. Yes. Got you, man. Thank you, and thanks for having me on here.
No
Shout
problem.
out to Detroit. I feel like y'all always welcome me with open arms. So it's good to be back.
Yeah, and you'll be back more times.
I will.
Also in the future.
I know I will be back more times. So I'll have to tap in and see where you at with your journey.
Absolutely. Yeah. And everybody watching, listen, we're gonna tap in with y'all soon. Peace.